Hi, this is Mark with Barritus, and happy Tactical Tuesday. We just moved into a new house, and so we've got boxes all over the place, but I'm taking a break from unpacking so I can answer a question that came to us from Tim from Kansas. And Tim wants to know, do I need a truck gun? Well, Tim, when you say truck gun, I'm going to assume that you mean a carbine, like an AR-15 type platform or something related to that. Something that is too large to conceal on your person comfortably, and something that's small enough that doesn't need to be mounted onto the vehicle itself, small enough to be concealed inside of it, i.e. the truck gun. So it's a good question. I think if you can answer these two questions for yourself, I think you'll know whether or not you need to carry one or have a truck gun. And those two questions are, number one, is it viable to have one? Number two, is it practical to have one? And so when I mean practical, I'm meaning for you, not your neighbor, not the other guy down the street. Is it practical for you? So let's step back from truck gun. When we think about having, or why we would want an AR-15, I'm just going to use that for an example, but any carbine platform would work, is what is the benefit? So if we step it back from truck gun and just take it inside the home, we know that an AR-15 is great for home defense. Why? Because we've got high capacity rounds that we can throw towards a threat. It's very powerful and accuracy. So we know it's easier to manage and to shoot with. How is it easier? How is it more accurate? Because you've got more points of contact with your AR-15 than you do a pistol. So just think about it. So with the handgun, you've got both hands on your gripping the weapon. With an AR-15 or other carbine platform, you've got 4 points. You've got the butt of the stock is in the shoulder. You've got the cheek to the stock, and you got your both hands on the weapon. So you have 4 points of contact, makes it more stable, easier to be accurate. So we know that's a practical home defense weapon, and there's been several reports around the country of people who have used it effectively to stop threats, home invaders, and the like. Now we step that out, and as we are traveling in and about around to particular destinations, we now have all of those attributes, but now we can add range. So you have a longer range. You can have a farther distance that you can hit a threat if you need to. So I would say in the viability column, yeah, the thing is viable. It's worthwhile. I think everybody should own one. Now let's look at whether or not it's practical. Is it practical for you? So let's look at who is using truck guns effectively for their defense. So let's think about law enforcement, right? Law enforcement carries long guns or carbines in their vehicles, or most of them do anyway. And so think about how they deploy those effectively. So you think about, how is it that officers oftentimes will employ their carbine? It's usually when they get a call. So let's say there's shots fired, an active shooter, something that's in progress at a school. So they drive onto the scene already knowing that they're going to utilize that platform. I've seen it with traffic stops too, where maybe they pull over a traffic stop and they're running their information through the NCIC, and somewhere along that stop, the assailant will draw down on them. There'll be shots fired, and then the assailant or suspect gets in the car, drives away. The police officer gives pursuit, and then maybe they go through a cornfield or something, and the suspect dumps the vehicle and takes off running on foot into the wood line. So now the officer has a choice. If he has time, he will maybe grab his AR and go after it, or after that suspect. In each of those examples, the officer is going towards the threat, and he has some kind of lead time, whether or not dispatch sends him to the call towards a threat, or it's the traffic stop scenario where he's driving down the road and he's making a split decision, or he has at least enough time to think that he may go for that weapon and pull it if it goes to a foot chase. The point is, you don't really see it in an ambush situation. You don't really see it where the officer's caught flat-footed and having to react towards an attack. I can't think of any time I've ever seen that. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just not aware of it. I mean, typically they just go to their sidearm because there's just simply not time, unless you're the second officer that rolls in to give support. So now, if you're not a law enforcement officer, Tim, think about how you would, as a practical matter, utilize the threat. We know it's viable. We know there's benefits that the carbine has over the pistol defensively. The question is, well, we know it's viable. The question is it practical for you? Assuming you're a concealed carry holder and you're out and about in public, most instances, there's going to be the threat's going to present to you, and then you're going to have to make a decision on how you respond. And it's, I don't know if you're going to be able to get to your truck gun. I mean, if you're in the middle of Walmart and something breaks out, you're in the middle of the store, are you going to run to your car and go get it and then come back? I mean, I don't know. So now we can build scenarios, right? We can always build a scenario in which you would use that. You know what I mean? Like, we can say, oh, well, in case there was an active shooter that was coming out of Walmart and he was shooting everybody in the parking lot and he's 50 meters away from me, I'm standing right by my car, then I'm gonna pull it out. I mean, all that look, that's the chances of that happening, the chances of you as a civilian becoming decisively engaged in a manner in which you would need to utilize your AR-15 and that, outside the home, are very slim, very slim. There's plenty of instances where people have used it inside the home. I don't know of it. Well, I know of a couple where they've used it outside, but they're very slim. So we're not going to say it's zero. We're not going to say it's impossible that you would ever need to utilize a truck gun. But now we're going to balance the benefits of having one with the risks. What are some of the risks and things that you have to deal with? Obviously, is where you travel. Are you going to be? Is it lawful for you to carry? If you're driving through certain states that may have restrictions on it, and I'm thinking more like with magazine capacity or certain zones that you may be driving through, school zones or something like that, where your local ordinances or laws may prohibit that. Or another aspect is just securing the vehicle. Is it going to be stolen, right? So now it's, how would you secure that? And so if you're securing it on the inside, is it locked down? Is it in your trunk? And now you see what I'm saying is that now the more steps you take to secure the weapon, it's now removing the chances that if you need it, you're going to be able to get to it in a timely fashion. So again, I don't have the answer for you on whether or not you personally should or should not have one, but I think if you walk yourself through those questions and really do some thinking about it, and you come to the answers for yourself, I think you'll know whether or not you need to carry one or not. So what do you guys think? Why don't you put in the comments below, what do you think about truck guns? Good? You like them? Bad? Indifferent? So for more information and tips, or if you got any more questions, head over to www.barritusdefense.com and send them our way. Until next time, this is Mark with Barritus. Stay sharp.